I love when a watch arrives and it surprises me. And this Series X from Ciga design, the Eye of Horus, has surprised me. There's a few things that didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me that it was well made, that it was interesting, that it was a unique design, that it was relatively affordable. That is what I've come to expect from this brand. But what I didn't expect was for me to like it as much as I do. Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I am talking about watches, and I'm talking about a watch that has surprised me. It surprised me that I've enjoyed wearing this watch, that I enjoyed looking at this watch, that I've enjoyed owning this watch. And it's for a couple of specific reasons why it surprised me. Firstly, this is an all black watch, black on black on black, and I tend not to like that style of watch. I like a bit of stainless steel. I'm not really a big fan of rubber straps normally, but this one I have liked. I've liked having it in my collection, and I've liked actually wearing it. And I've liked that how comfortable it has been on wrist. And that's the sort of second part of what has surprised me about this watch, is because this one is actually really light on wrist. And I don't tend to like light watches on wrist. Well, it's not that I dislike them, it's that I just find I don't connect with them. I like having a little bit of weight, that stainless steel feel on your wrist. And this one does not have that, yet I've still liked it. And I think it's because it's been so comfortable. So it's been so good to actually be able to have this one in my collection and actually get to wear it. And I've been able to do that because Ciga Design sent this watch out to me. Now, you would have seen that sponsored icon pop up, and that is because I was able to get this watch from them, have it in my collection, wear it, and now I get to share my thoughts with you. And of course, because of that, I'm going to leave some links to the Ciga Design website down below. Today, I want to show you all the things that I've really liked about this watch, the couple of things that possibly you could probably change to improve this watch, but also just show you a bit around this watch. So let's flip the camera and let's check it out. I always say Ciga Design watches are well made, interesting, fun, and relatively affordable. And this one here at $249 US, I think it ticks all those boxes. And as always, it comes with this really cool, interesting packaging, which contains all the information about the watch, but it also then actually can then sit on your bookshelf, which is much nicer than actually all the normal boxes that just sit in my watch box drawer. I do like that they contain all the safety information and all the specifications about it too. And then obviously presents very nicely. The strap, which actually is a bit of a standout feature for me for this particular watch, has quick release spring bars, so it's nice and easy to put this one together. Now I'm going to start with some of the sort of technical specs of this one first, because I then really want to just dive into all the visual elements of this one. So I have no real idea where to start measuring this one, but all the way across, including the crown, is 50. On a bit of an angle, it's closer to 49, a thickness of 12.2, a lug to lug of just over 47, a lug width of 22, and it only weighs 67.2 grams. It only has a mineral crystal on the front, and as you'd probably expect, also a mineral crystal on the back. The case is all black and made out of bioceramic, which to me is like a fancy plastic. I know that's not exactly what it is, but it has a soft plastic feel to it and a very light feel to it. And I've been wearing this one a bit and not one mark has come up on the case, which might just be because I've been careful with it, but it also might mean that it is a little bit resistant to scratches. But none of that really matters too much, because it's the design of this watch that has really captured my attention. It's certainly not the legibility, because this particular one, albeit Ciga Design is never particularly great with legibility or not really based around legibility, this one is probably the least legible I've experienced from them. But that's okay. I choose not to wear this one if I need a legible watch. I choose to wear this one if I want a fun watch, an interesting watch, a very interestingly designed watch around the Eye of Horus. And there's the eye right there in the center amongst this triangle second hand. It's spinning around, it creates some interesting movement on the dial, and then as you look through, because it is completely see-through, looking at that automatic movement, you get to see some other things that are moving, which is quite nice. Now around the outside of that dial, there is some markers to give you a bit of an idea of what time it is, because although I'm saying it's not particularly legible, you can actually still read the time. You can see there it's about 20 past 10 at the moment. You've got these interesting 4 screws on the outside. As far as I can tell, they are just aesthetic. You've got the Eye of Horus on the left-hand side of the watch that is screwed down. An interesting choice though, this semi-guarded crown has a little jewel in there, which that wasn't immediately obvious when I first got this watch. I wasn't looking for that or wasn't paying attention for that, but it's an interesting extra little feature. Non-screw down crown, so you can wind this watch straight up. It does have hacking, this particular movement, so you can see that triangle second hand there. And the interest factor of this one actually continues when you turn the lights out, because it actually has some really good lume. That triangle center eye of Horus has a really interesting effect as it's turning at night. But you can see it's actually a lot more legible at night. That lume is nice and strong. You get a good sort of feel for where the hour hands are, the minute hand, and where those markers are around the outside. So it's really just a interesting second hand that you're looking at with a much more legible watch. Got a see-through case back there showing off that automatic movement. And I'm going to say, like I say about a lot of these Ciga design watches, which you can sort of see all the way through, that I just don't think an automatic movement is the right choice. This should be a manual wind movement, because you can see that rotor through there. Wouldn't that be better if that was missing and making it just a manual only watch? Because I doubt that this is a watch that you're going to be wearing all the time. But that aside, really nice sort of rubber strap. I have mentioned that. It is signed. It's got the Eye of Horus there. It's super, super soft, super comfortable, nice keepers, black matching Ciga design sort of hardware as well. But it really, it's this, when you put this watch on wrist, that then I've really had that sort of connection to this watch. Looking at it, it's interesting, it's fun, it's playful, it's certainly different, but the comfort and how it sits on wrist is something that stands out to me. And I think that's partly to do with just how comfortable the rubber strap is, partly with how light it is, how it then sits down on wrist as well, and probably that bioceramic is just so soft that you almost don't feel it on wrist. So it's fun, interesting, and comfortable. Now I can't put this one on the time grapher today because the bioceramic then doesn't sort of connect with the time grapher. You need a steel case. So this one, I'm not sure what the movement is. They always say that they are Ciga design in-house movements. I'm not 100% sure what that is, but I'm not really too phased about that, because I'm not even too phased about how well it keeps time either, because it's more about just having an interesting watch in the collection. And as I'll always say, it's nice to have a fun watch in the collection too, and Ciga Design does some great fun watches. So after seeing it now, and you actually think maybe I wouldn't mind buying that one for myself, well, they cost about $249 US on the Ciga Design website. And for that, I think you're getting an interesting watch, a well-made watch, a comfortable watch, something a little bit different. But it's not a perfect watch, of course. The main thing that I do point out about this watch that I think possibly could be an issue is the legibility. This is not a watch that I'm going to wear because I just desperately need to know the time immediately upon looking at a watch. But none of the Ciga designs are that kind of watch for me. Like all watches from Ciga Design, this one, it's interesting. It's well made, it's unique, it's affordable, and it's fun. And I think Ciga Design does this so well. I think all their watches do this so well. But this one's probably the most comfortable of all the Ciga designs I've ever tried on. Thanks for watching. Maybe you'd like to watch a couple of these videos next.